Welcome back to Alpha Core Health. One gentleman, listen closely. If you are spooning turmeric powder into water every morning, hoping to fix your aching joints or boost your fading memory, you are likely wasting your time and money. The brutal truth that most men in the UK do not realize is that the male body flushes out nearly 99% of raw turmeric before it can do any good. Why does this happen? Well, the golden active compound known as curcumin hates water and refuses to mix with it. Today, I will reveal the secret transporter, a rich ingredient sitting right in your kitchen that forces turmeric into your bloodstream and bypasses the strict border control of your liver. If you are ready to stop wasting money and start optimizing your biology, type the word strongman in the comments below. We need to start this conversation by addressing the elephant in the room, which is the massive misunderstanding surrounding superfoods in the modern health industry. You have likely read countless headlines in the newspapers or seen reports on the television claiming that turmeric is a miracle spice that can solve everything from arthritis to cognitive decline. While the potential of turmeric is indeed scientific fact, the way it is sold and consumed by the average British man is almost entirely useless because of basic biology. Most men believe that digestion is a simple process where you swallow something and your body magically absorbs all the nutrients inside it like a sponge soaking up water. The reality of human physiology is far more complex and ruthless, especially when it comes to compounds that the body considers to be foreign invaders. Curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric that provides the anti-inflammatory benefits, but it has a chemical structure that scientists describe as hydrophobic, which literally means it fears water. Think about what happens when you try to mix olive oil with water in a glass. No matter how hard you stir them, they will eventually separate because they are chemically incompatible. Your digestive tract is a watery environment, and when you consume raw turmeric powder or cheap capsules with water, the curcumin clumps together and refuses to dissolve. It slides through your stomach and intestines without ever penetrating the intestinal wall, which is the necessary gateway to your bloodstream and your cells. This means that for every pound you spend on turmeric supplements or powders, you are effectively flushing 99 pence of it down the toilet without receiving any benefit. It is not that the turmeric lacks power, it is that the delivery system you are using is fundamentally broken and your body cannot access the medicine. Furthermore, we have to talk about the liver, which is the primary detoxification organ of the human body, and it acts like a very strict border control agent. When the tiny fraction of curcumin that does manage to get absorbed reaches the liver, it is immediately flagged as a foreign substance that needs to be eliminated. The liver performs a process called glucuronidation, which effectively neutralizes the curcumin and prepares it for rapid excretion through your urine or bile. This is why you can take high doses of turmeric and still feel absolutely no difference in your joint pain or your mental clarity or your energy levels. You are fighting a losing battle against your own biology because you are trying to force a square peg into a round hole. This phenomenon is what scientists call poor bioavailability, and it is the main reason why so many men give up on natural remedies, believing them to be ineffective. You are not immune to the benefits of turmeric. You are simply failing to bypass the biological barriers that evolution has put in place to protect you. To truly unlock the power of this ancient spice, we must stop treating it like a vitamin pill that dissolves in water and start treating it like a complex nutrient. We need to understand the chemistry of absorption so that we can trick the body into accepting the curcumin rather than rejecting it. This requires a shift in mindset from simply consuming more to consuming smarter and using the right vehicles to transport nutrients. Once you understand that digestion is a chemical reaction, you will realize that the missing ingredient is not more turmeric, but a specific carrier agent. Now that we have established why your current routine is failing, let us look at why this matters so much for men living in the United Kingdom today. We live in a climate that is famous for being damp and cold for a large portion of the year, which is a nightmare for joints and old injuries. I speak to men every day who tell me that they can feel the weather changing in their knees or their lower back long before the rain actually starts to fall. This sensitivity is often driven by underlying inflammation, which makes the nerve endings hypersensitive and causes the tissues to swell and ache. On top of the weather, we have a culture that often revolves around the pub and hearty comfort foods, which can place a significant burden on the liver and the gut. Alcohol, even in moderate amounts, causes systemic inflammation and damages the lining of the gut, which allows toxins to leak into the bloodstream. Processed meats and refined carbohydrates, which are staples of the modern British diet, also act as fuel for the inflammatory fire that burns quietly inside the body. Inflammation is not just about sore knees or a stiff back. It is the root cause of almost every major disease that men face as they age. It is the silent killer that damages your blood vessels, leading to high blood pressure and heart disease, which are the biggest killers of men in the UK. But perhaps the most concerning impact of chronic inflammation for men over 50 is what it does to your hormones and your brain function. When your body is in a state of chronic inflammation, it prioritizes survival over thriving, which means it shuts down non-essential functions like testosterone production. Inflammation blocks the receptors for testosterone, meaning that even if you have decent levels, your body cannot use the hormone effectively to build muscle or maintain drive. It also causes what we often call brain fog, where you feel like your thinking is slow and you struggle to remember names or where you put your keys. This is actually neuroinflammation or swelling in the brain tissue, which impairs the speed at which your neurons can communicate with each other. If you do not address this systemic fire, you will find your vitality slipping away year after year, regardless of how much you exercise. Curcumin is one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories known to science because it works on multiple pathways simultaneously to cool down this heat. It inhibits an enzyme called COX-2, which is the same enzyme that many over-the-counter painkillers target, but it does so without damaging the stomach lining. It acts like a fire extinguisher that should be able to put out the flames in your joints and your arteries and your brain. However, as we discussed in the first section, the fire extinguisher is useless if you cannot get it inside the burning building. The inflammation continues to ravage your body while the cure sits uselessly in your digestive tract waiting to be excreted. We need a way to smuggle this powerful agent past the liver and directly into the systemic circulation where it can hunt down inflammation. This is not just about feeling a bit better, it is about reclaiming your biological potential and protecting your long-term health. The difference between a man who ages with pain and stiffness and a man who stays agile and sharp is often the management of inflammation. By solving the absorption puzzle, we can turn turmeric from a culinary garnish into a therapeutic powerhouse that changes your life. We have arrived at the pivotal moment where we reveal the solution that transforms your health regime from a waste of money into a powerful protocol. The secret lies in understanding the chemical nature of curcumin, which, as we mentioned, is lipophilic, meaning it loves fat and dissolves readily in it. In nature, turmeric is a root, and in traditional cultures, it was almost always cooked in curries or stews that contained ample amounts of oil or butter. They did not understand the molecular science, but they understood through centuries of observation that turmeric needed fat to work effectively in the body. When you mix turmeric powder with a high-quality fat source, you are essentially creating a microscopic armored vehicle for the curcumin. This is where the biology gets fascinating, because the body handles fats very differently from how it handles proteins or carbohydrates or water. When you consume fat, it does not go straight to the liver via the portal vein like other nutrients do, which exposes them to immediate filtration. Instead, dietary fat is packaged into tiny spheres called chylomicrons, which are too large to enter the blood capillaries directly. These chylomicrons carrying the dissolved curcumin bypass the liver entirely and enter a separate network called the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is like a secret back road that runs parallel to your blood vessels and eventually dumps its contents directly into the heart and general circulation. By hitching a ride on these fat molecules, the curcumin skips the liver metabolism completely and enters your blood in its active and potent form. Scientific studies suggest that taking curcumin with a lipid source can increase absorption by incredible amounts, sometimes up to 2,000% compared to water. This means that a small teaspoon of turmeric taken with fat is infinitely more powerful than a massive capsule taken with a glass of water. You are essentially hacking your own biology to deliver the medicine exactly where it needs to go without interference. This lymphatic delivery system is crucial because the lymph fluid also bathes your tissues and carries immune cells. This means the curcumin can start interacting with your immune system and reducing inflammation before it even hits your major organs. It is the difference between trying to knock down a fortress door with your bare hands versus having a key that opens the side gate. Once the curcumin is in the bloodstream, it stays there much longer because it is protected by the fat molecule for a period of time. This sustained release allows it to circulate throughout your entire body, reaching the knees, the hips, the heart, and the brain. It transforms the supplement from a fleeting visitor in your gut to a resident worker in your tissues. This mechanism is why traditional golden milk or oily curries have been used as medicine for thousands of years in the East. They were instinctively using the fat key to unlock the potential of the spice, and now modern science confirms their wisdom. You do not need expensive technology or pharmaceutical-grade enhancers, you just need to respect the laws of chemistry. If you found this explanation of the fat key helpful and want to master your health, please comment strongman below. Now that we know we need fat, we must be very careful about which specific fats we choose to mix with our turmeric. Not all fats are created equal, and using the wrong kind can actually increase inflammation, which defeats the purpose of taking turmeric. We want to avoid highly processed vegetable oils like sunflower or soybean or corn oil, which are high in omega-6 fatty acids. These industrial oils are prone to oxidation and can promote inflammation in the body, acting like fuel for the fire we are trying to put out. Instead, we need to focus on what I call the king fats, which are stable, healthy, and offer their own biological benefits. The first king fat on our list is extra virgin olive oil, which is a staple of the Mediterranean diet and a heart health superstar. Olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal, which has a natural anti-inflammatory effect very similar to ibuprofen. When you mix turmeric with olive oil, you are creating a synergistic blend where both ingredients work together to reduce pain. It is excellent for men concerned about cardiovascular health because it also supports healthy cholesterol levels and blood vessel function. The second option is coconut oil, which is unique because it is rich in medium-chain triglycerides or MCTs. These special fats are metabolized very quickly by the liver and turned into ketones, which are a preferred fuel source for the brain. Using coconut oil as your carrier helps drive the curcumin towards the brain and provides a quick boost of mental energy. It is the perfect choice for men who are suffering from brain fog or memory issues along with their joint pain. The third excellent option is ghee or clarified butter, which has been used in Indian medicine for thousands of years. Ghee is rich in fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin K2 and butyrate, which heals the gut lining. It has a high smoke point, so it is excellent if you want to cook your turmeric to activate it further. For those who prefer a neutral taste, avocado oil is another great choice as it is rich in monounsaturated fats similar to olive oil. The key is to ensure you are using a pure, cold-pressed, or high-quality source of fat, not a cheap blend. You want the fat to be a vehicle of health, not a carrier of more toxins or inflammatory agents. By combining turmeric with one of these king fats, you are creating a potent medicinal paste that your body recognizes as food. This approach turns a simple supplement routine into a nourishing ritual that supports your cells, membranes, and hormone production. Remember that testosterone and other vital hormones are made from cholesterol and fat, so you are supporting your endocrine system too. Do not be afraid of these healthy fats. They are essential for the absorption of nutrients and the maintenance of your cells. If you have been avoiding fat because of outdated diet advice, it is time to rethink that strategy for the sake of your absorption. Let us look deeper into why this combination is so critical for the aging brain and for your overall performance as a man. One of the most difficult barriers to cross in the human body is the blood-brain barrier, which protects your brain from toxins. However, this barrier also keeps out many potential medicines and supplements, making it hard to treat brain inflammation. Curcumin, when dissolved in high-quality fats like coconut oil or olive oil, has a much better chance of crossing this barrier. Once inside the brain, curcumin can work its magic by clearing out the plaques and tangles that are associated with cognitive decline. It reduces the neuroinflammation that makes you feel groggy and slow and disconnected from your surroundings. But perhaps the most exciting benefit for men over 50 is the boost in a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You can think of this factor as fertilizer for your brain cells because it helps neurons survive and even encourages the growth of new connections. Low levels of this factor are linked to depression and memory loss and the general mental slowing that comes with age. By boosting this factor, you are essentially keeping your brain plastic and capable of learning and adapting. This mental sharpness translates directly into better performance in your daily life, whether that is at work or in your hobbies. When your brain is not inflamed, your mood stabilizes and your ability to handle stress improves significantly. You will find that you have more patience and more focus, and that the mental fatigue in the afternoon disappears. Furthermore, when we reduce systemic inflammation, we also improve the health of the endothelial lining of the blood vessels. This is the inner lining of your arteries that controls blood flow to every part of your body, including the reproductive system. Better blood flow means better oxygen delivery to your muscles during exercise and better function in the bedroom. It is all connected because the same inflammation that hurts your knees also constricts your blood vessels and fogs your brain. By addressing the root cause with bioavailable turmeric, you are upgrading your entire system at once. Men often report that after a few weeks of this protocol, they feel like a fog has lifted and they have their edge back. It is not a stimulant effect like caffeine, but a restoration of natural baseline energy and clarity. This is the state of high performance that we want to maintain well into our 60s and 70s and 80s. It is about preserving the hardware of your brain and body so that the software of your mind can run smoothly. If you are enjoying this deep dive into optimizing your health, please subscribe to Alpha Core Health One. By subscribing, you join a community of men dedicated to staying strong and sharp, and you will never miss our weekly guides. Now, we need to get practical and talk about exactly how to prepare this mixture in your own kitchen to get the maximum effect. We call this the golden paste protocol, and it is a simple recipe that you can make in batches and store in the fridge. First, you need to understand that heat is also a helpful activator for turmeric because it opens up the chemical structure. Start by taking a half cup of high-quality turmeric powder and mixing it with 1 cup of water in a small pan. Turn the heat to a low setting and stir gently and constantly for about 7 to 10 minutes until it forms a thick, smooth paste. If it gets too dry, you can add a little more water, but you want a consistency similar to mustard or toothpaste. Once you have this paste, turn off the heat and let it cool down until it is just warm to the touch, not hot. This is when you add your chosen king fat, and my personal recommendation is about 1/3 of a cup of melted coconut oil or olive oil. Stir the oil vigorously into the paste until it is completely combined and you cannot see any oil separation. Now, there is one final ingredient we can add to lock in the benefits, and that is freshly ground black pepper. While fat is the transporter, black pepper contains piperine, which stops the liver from excreting the curcumin too quickly. Add about 1½ teaspoons of freshly ground black pepper to the mixture and stir it in thoroughly. The fat gets the turmeric into the blood, and the pepper keeps it there for longer, which is the perfect 1-2 punch. Store this golden paste in a glass jar in the fridge, and it will keep fresh for about 2 weeks. The recommended dose is to start small, with about 1/4 teaspoon twice a day with food. You can mix it into warm milk, or stir it into a smoothie, or even add it to your rice or soups. Over time, you can gradually increase the dose to 1/2 teaspoon or a full teaspoon as your body gets used to it. Consistency is far more important than quantity, so make sure you take it every single day. Some men prefer to just swallow the paste off a spoon and chase it with water, which is fine too. The taste is earthy and slightly spicy, but you will quickly get used to it knowing what it is doing for your body. By making this yourself, you save a fortune on expensive supplements, and you ensure you are getting the fresh, active ingredients. It puts the control of your health back in your hands using simple, natural components. Try this protocol for 2 weeks and monitor how your joints feel and how your brain performs. If you are ready to commit to making this change, type strongman in the comments to show your dedication. We have covered a vast amount of ground today, moving from the myths of marketing to the hard truths of human biology. You now understand that popping a turmeric pill with a glass of water is largely a futile gesture that drains your wallet, but not your inflammation. You have learned that the key to unlocking the healing power of this ancient spice is fat, specifically healthy, high-quality fats. You know which fats to choose to support your heart and brain, and how to prepare a golden paste that maximizes potency. This is the difference between following a health trend blindly and understanding the mechanism of how your body works. When you respect the biological rules of absorption, you get results that others miss out on. Imagine waking up in the morning without that stiffness in your lower back or knees that makes the first few steps of the day a struggle. Imagine sitting down to read or work and finding that your concentration holds steady without drifting into fog. Imagine knowing that you are actively protecting your heart and your arteries from the damage of modern living. This is the power of taking control of your nutrition and treating food as the medicine it was always meant to be. It is not about expensive pharmaceuticals or complicated routines. It is about smart, simple choices made consistently. The golden paste is a tool that has stood the test of time, and now you know exactly why it works. However, before you rush to the kitchen, I must leave you with a very important medical disclaimer that you need to hear. The information in this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice or a prescription. I am a narrator, sharing research and knowledge. I am not your personal general practitioner. Turmeric is a potent substance that has natural blood-thinning properties similar to aspirin. If you are currently taking prescription blood thinners like warfarin, or if you have a scheduled surgery coming up, you must consult your GP. High doses of turmeric can interact with these medications and increase the risk of bleeding, which can be dangerous. Also, if you have a history of gallstones or bile duct obstruction, turmeric can stimulate bile flow and cause pain. Always listen to your body and start with small doses to see how you react. We want you to be strong and healthy, but we also want you to be safe and responsible with your choices. Your health journey is a marathon, not a sprint, and it requires wisdom as well as action. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us on Alpha Core Health One today. We appreciate your trust and we look forward to bringing you more science-backed strategies. Please leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts on your current health status. Here is to your health and your strength.